Sorry.
That Sarah existed is not in question. Like countless others, her passion for the Theatre Royal is literally undying. But who's to say that her uncompromising spirit has never left? Legend or unbelievable lie?
Well, I was asked to help in the fixing of the seating after the war, when this theatre was due to be opened again. And we had to be open by 5 o'clock the next evening, which meant that we had to work all night to achieve this end. About between 1 and 3 a.m. we decided to have a cup of tea from a flask and sat up in the gods up there in the centre. And during this period, this figure walked across the stage out towards the stage door, and it looked like a figure of a tall, slim lady.
And what did it make you feel like?
Well, it was very frightening. I could hardly believe it. But at that point, I wasn't, aware of this resident ghost that was supposed to be here. It was only when I related it to someone later that I found out. And I said, well, that must have been it, Sarah Thorne. And it was quite frightening, quite frightening.
So how did you act? What did you do?
Well, after it went, I just didn't know what to make of it, never having seen an apparition in my life. To be quite honest, I didn't really want to come in here anymore. I stayed away, yes, I never came in again. And I was rather scared.
Reams never returned to the theatre until this day. Perhaps he had good reason. In the control room, the team believe they have detected strange objects floating above the auditorium during rehearsals.
Macbeth, beware Macduff.
Okay, we've just been looking at the minicams upstairs, and the main minicam that's facing out is picking up orbs, quite a few of them moving in the upper balcony, the upper circle, moving left to right, some at quite high speed, quite bright. We're recording that upstairs at the moment. I'm just trying to see if I can verify it with a second camera at the moment without any luck. We're getting some lens flare and that on here, but we're not actually seeing the orbs on this one at the moment. But as I zoom into the area where the minicams are catching it, it's very dark, so I'm not really getting a very clear picture.
He will not be commanded. Here's another, more potent than the first.
Macbeth.
Floating upwards. We say upwards. Can you give me an area on that, Andy, please? Yeah, just above Mark's head. Oh, not Mark, John, sorry. It's up on the second circle up, and the first circle up. And where's the pond that Lady growled around and top of Socrates? Okay, just to eliminate the ones we had before, where is that camera position? Is it the one in the second box? Yes. Right, we've got 4 spotlights on the side of that box, which are giving us 4 light beams directly in front of camera. So I think we could have dust again there.
Unlike the orbs photographed on stage by Andy, these are more easily explained.
Let Mark get on with what he's doing. I'm going to go up there and just investigate, but I think you'll find it'll be light beams across, so it'll be close to lens, so it's probably going to be dust. False alarm, I think.
To time a mortal custom, yet my heart probes to know one thing. Tell me, if your art.
While the ghost detectives continue to search for proof, there's one man who needs no convincing that the ghosts exist. Theatre manager Michael Wheatley Ward.
We had a clairvoyant here about 6 years ago, and I'd often wondered why I'd been connected with this theatre most of my life. And it turned out that this particular spirit guide I've got was connected with the theatre when it was first opened. It was a owner of a barge, and it turned out to be Charlie Mate, one of the 2 founders. So I've taken this in my stride, and I often think that he's around me at moments of difficult decisions, and he's helped me make them. It might sound as though I'm absolutely raving bonkers, but if I get any problems, I start to think to myself, well, what would Charlie say? And sometimes an answer mysteriously appears. I can't be any more clearer than that. And I suppose a lot of people looking at me will think, well, he's stark, staring mad. But I've come to believe in it.
The farmer's daughter has married the vicar's son. He said they will make a lovely couple because she is a Quaker and he wants his oats.
While most performances here are excellent, like any other theatre, the Theatre Royal in Margate has its off nights. But unlike any other theatre in the world, here we have our own in-house critic. Charlie Mate is his name. What's more, he died many years ago. He's regularly seen and heard wandering in the cellars under the stage. But when a performance is less than impressive, he appears across the road from the theatre, standing at the bar of the nearest pub. And regular drinkers all swear blind that he vanishes the moment the curtain comes down.
I was standing behind the bar where Sheila is now. As I was standing there, Linda was just by here, and her husband and his friend was playing with my dog on the floor. And then all of a sudden it was just like, for some unknown reason, we both turned round together as there was a movement. And as we looked, he was standing here. And she looked at me, I looked at her, and we both looked at each other and I said, "Did you see what I saw?" And she went, "I'm not sure what you saw." And they were too busy, they'd had a few anyway, so, and we'd just finished work. And then the next thing is, she started to tell me roughly what he was wearing, and I finished it off for her. Between the two of us, we actually described what he was wearing.
I was sat here one night, talking to other people, and well, mainly I was sat on my own, and I felt this pressure against me, as if something was trying to push into me. And I was told afterwards that I was crying, and Rose had said she thought that the jukebox had upset, music on the jukebox had upset me. But you'd have to ask her if she actually heard me say, "Go away, leave me alone. Don't touch me, get away from me."
David was sitting, and he'd just gone into, and I thought he was actually reminiscing about his past with the music. I thought it upset him, and I went to say, "Are you all right, David?" And the next thing, the tears were just dripping down his face, and he was like this, "Go away, go away, go away, you can't come through me." And it was like, I can't explain it, it was just saying, "Go away."
I was frightened. I wasn't so much upset, because I've had a couple of other experiences that I was frightened at the time, and all I wanted to do was leave me alone. He seemed to be pressuring me. If it let me go quite nice and easy, it might have been better. It wasn't until afterwards that I thought about it, that he seemed to want to get inside me so he could put his side of the story or his words over.
This sounds stupid because a lot of people think you're cranky, but I've got to say it, the only way I can describe him is that he's like the Sandyman pork bottle, and that is the only way I can put it. But he has got something around the neck that is either a ruff or a scarf. And I'm going to move, because at the moment I'm going cold from head to toe in that corner. I'm ever so sorry, but that is where he would be.
Others believe there is a more rational explanation.
Now, it's quite interesting that when you look at the kind of places that are typically said to be haunted, you tend to find that there are places like castles, hotels, pubs and so on. Now, it may be just a coincidence that it tends to be these places. I mean, clearly they've got a lot of history, so there's lots of events that will have taken place over the years, but also it probably isn't bad for business if if a myth develops that the place is haunted. It's probably going to draw more people in than it's actually going to send away. Now, again, particularly in the case of pubs, then you've got a situation there where people may often kind of maybe have had one too many. And I think maybe one or two of the instances that we hear about, are genuinely due to spirits, but maybe not the kind of spirits